It's on.
Ooh, it's
What's up, everybody?
and another amazing freaking day.
Day 2 of UPW.
It's not quite as late tonight, so
yeah.
our energy's still pretty high.
It's 8 p.m. right now.
Versus midnight.
Versus midnight, or some people in London, for instance, it's 3 a.m. right now for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or the Aussies who've been up literally from like 1 a.m. till 1 p.m.
Yeah.
That is some dedication.
For sure. And so today was packed again.
Uh-huh.
And what we can share with you is so many things, but would you like to share something in particular?
Pretty much, I'll just share the theme of the day in case you're curious. Was that the theme was that, looking at where you are and where you want to go.
Where you are in your life.
Yeah, and where it is you want to go and how do you close the gap.
Yeah.
And so that was like one of the main things, but there's so many amazing layered in there that I could just go on for 16 hours about pretty much.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's some things that really stuck out for sure. And so one of the things, like a big takeaway for me that comes to mind right now is like when I'm thinking about my own personal life and where I am and where I want to go, one of the things I need more of in my life is to be challenged more, to be in the proximity of people that have already achieved the results that I'm after, so that I show up and I feel almost obligated to push myself and gain the respect and the skills that those people that I admire or want to be like, I can achieve that. And so I've heard this from Tony before, and he says proximity is power, and you are who you hang out with, and I definitely believe that, but today was just a really good reminder to get out there and get around the people that, I want to, see the results from.
Yeah, and to also be cautious about who you choose to spend your time with. And that doesn't mean that if your family, we know some of our family members don't really have high standards, and they are not maybe high achievers. And so that doesn't mean that we abandon a family. No, we still love a family. It's just that we're also going to be strategic about who outside our family, we're going to be spending time with. So that, every time you spend time with someone, you influence them, they influence you. Like, it's human nature, and so it's a precious time that we have with others, and how to make the best of it. And
I'm sure you've maybe heard this saying, maybe it's just a really popular Canadian saying, but they say you can choose your you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends.
Yeah.
And what one of the messages of tonight was that to love your family, but to choose your peers.
Yeah, and for sure. And ideally, you have these peers. You have so much respect for them, and they have high standards, ideally higher than yours right now. Whatever, right? If you're trying to improve your health or your finances, or your relationship. Let's say you want to improve your relationship. Well, if you hang out with people who have not such a great relationship,
they're complaining all the time.
They're bitching about their spouse.
They don't even want to be with their spouse half the time. They have no common vision, no common.
How many? Sorry to interrupt, Don.
No, it's all good.
I was just gonna say, how many people do you know? Like friends that are gonna be bitching about their spouse with you, and it's a way to connect. Lots of people, we as humans, we gossip. It's easy to be gossiping because
get caught up in it.
Yeah, it creates a connection, right?
And trust and rapport with that person. You want them to feel understood and not judged, but
And as part of a hierarchy, gossiping would give you insights of what's happening in your family, in your community, in your country,
in the world.
As part, you'd be aware of any corruption thanks to gossips.
Yeah. Previous to the internet and TV and maybe even radio, gossip or that
was kind of important, And unfortunately, there's negative gossips where it's people backstab each other,
or the information's so distorted because it's been passed on so many times.
That's right. So the thing is that being cautious about who you spend your time with, and you can actually. Yeah, by spending time with the people who have higher standards for their relationships, that's going to influence you because you're going to be seeing what they do, you're going to be hearing a different vocabulary, a different energy, and that's going to impact you. You're going to be behaving better with your spouse.
Yeah, and just on the flip side, imagine you have a great relationship with your love and you're hanging out with people who don't have a great relationship with their partner. Are you downplaying your relationship so that you don't make them uncomfortable? Because again,
that's right.
if you're lowering your standards, if you're lowering your energy and yourself to suit the needs of someone else whose needs or vision or actions aren't something that you admire, eventually your standard starts to slip and slip and slip. It's unconscious, but eventually you spend enough time with that person and you downplay yourself and you downplay yourself, and eventually it catches up with you. Just like eating junk food or overspending your money or whatever, it's a tax that you pay down the road.
And it's not about never seeing this person again.
No.
It's just about being more strategic and aware, conscious about how much time do you spend with them.
But maybe you don't spend time with them.
And that
was something that was mentioned tonight, and we've experienced this in our own life, is that sometimes you can put boundaries and sometimes it's just not going to work. That relationship was a part of your life maybe for a certain reason, or just a season, or maybe lifetime, but you kind of just got to let that relationship take its course and not force it. You're not going to force your energy, you're not going to force them. You're just going to be yourself, and you're going to let them be themselves, and you're going to realize, does that fit with where you are and where you want to go? And if it doesn't, and they can't even, and maybe that person that you communicate with doesn't care maybe about your vision and they just care about themselves, then that would be a good indication that maybe that's not a peer you want to have in your life. There's nothing wrong with saying hello or whatever, being very friendly, but you're not going to make the time. You're not going to be spending weekly phone calls with them or going on lunch dates. You're going to wish them well. You're going to remember the good times, and you're going to move forward, because the more time you make for those people that aren't pushing you, you're saying no to the people that are going to push you to get to where you want to go.
So something we could ask you is, if there is an area in your life where you want to progress, your health, your finances, your relationship, whatever it is, think about what are the people in your life right now that actually have a better situation than you in this specific area, and that could help you. And if you cannot think of anybody, then find a way to find them. Go on YouTube. I don't know, there's so many ways, right? You can find them. You can ask friends who maybe you might know, or you just go spend time on YouTube, as I said, or maybe get a coach, or...
Yeah, just like in fitness or
even
whatever.
Books.
Yeah, books. Books are an amazing source. Podcasts, whatever.
That's right.
Audio programs of some kind.
And the thing is to not believe that you don't have the money to get access to this knowledge,
or the resources, or the time, whatever the belief is.
Because this is bullshit. There's so much free information already out there. Yeah.
And so this just in case you're kind of doubting this whole concept, but think about when you were in high school or university or in a career or a job. If you wanted to advance in something that you were interested in, and whether that was a subject or a certain career, what did they tell you? They tell you to go do an internship. They tell you to find a mentor.
An immersion.
Why? Because that person already has the results. They're going to bring you up. They're going to hold you accountable, and they're going to ask you why you're not showing up. And because you want to have that result, you respect that person or what the results that they've gotten. So you're just naturally going to pull yourself towards that goal instead of pushing yourself.
And something else, like when we are babies, how do we learn how to speak? Do we actually learn how to grammatically build a sentence? No, we don't say, well, first you need to put the subject, I, then the verb. No, you don't. You just speak, and the baby is going to be looking at the lips. He's going to be looking at your physiology, right? He's just hearing sound and he's repeating. So as we've been programmed as animals, like as a creature, human beings, to just observe and kind of mimic, do the same thing that we see, right? And we do that unconsciously as adults too. And so that's why it's so important to be aware of who you hang out with.
Yeah.
And if you like what you see in your peer group, that's awesome, right? If you want to be like that, that's awesome. If you can see yourself down the road 10 years, 20 years, and you're excited about becoming like these people, that's great. And if you're not, that's okay. You can just make an adjustment.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons why we were able to decide to end our former careers in corporate, was because we personally...
And nothing against corporate.
No, it was a great experience and we're super grateful for that. And
it's just we were ready for more. We wanted to grow.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was that we both knew that that wasn't the advancements that we wanted. You didn't see yourself becoming the head of an engineering department. I didn't see myself becoming an accountant. So therefore our positions were our positions. Yep. And we didn't want to grow in them. We weren't admiring our superiors. That's right. Yep. And so we were looking outside of that peer group to find what the result was that we were after, because we weren't, it wasn't fitting us anymore. It did for the time to get us to where we wanted to go in that first 10 years, let's say. And once we got there, it was like, okay, that's great. We can appreciate this, but now I want this result. So it's not going to come from this peer group. Therefore, I have to remove myself from it and put myself in another peer group in order to get that result.
You got to go explore different horizons, right? And at the beginning, it can be scary because you don't know who to talk to, or you don't know what you want to do with your life, or wherever you are in your life. Right.
Or maybe but you have lots of things going on, and so it's kind of hard to make that transition. But someone out there has done it.
And that's something else, it's like there's the, if you know what you want to do, but you don't know how to do it. And then most people focus on, including myself, I was like, how do I do it? How do I do it? I wanted the certainty to know and to have the tools to get me to where I wanted. And unfortunately, I didn't have that certainty. I didn't know how to do it. And so that can be a bit scary, right? And that's what Tony calls the tyranny of the how. We tend to focus on how we're going to do it. And that's great. We need strategy, for sure. We need strategy in our life. But the thing is, we must first have the psychology,
the strong enough reasons why we're doing it, right? If we don't have enough reasons, strong enough reasons, emotional reasons, that really inspires us to do the move, we're never gonna do it. And if we find a strategy but we don't have the true commitment, we're never gonna follow through anyway. Yeah, and just to add to that, one of the things that came up a lot today was that emotion creates motion. So if you don't have strong enough emotion towards what it is you want to go towards, you're not going to get any motion, no momentum towards it. So if you need help getting reasons why, get that emotional juice in it, whether it's the pain or the pleasure emotion that gets you motivated, whatever motivates you more. Usually for most people it's pain, they don't want to experience the pain, so that's enough reasons for them to move. But whatever it is, pain or pleasure, find the emotion that speaks to you to get you motivated, to get you inspired. And another thing, just to add on top of this, that stood out a lot today, was that familiarity overrides intelligence. And so that kind of like bing in my head today, because
so what she means is that we tend to do what's familiar to us. We have habits, we have routines, and we just keep doing them without questioning them. Even though these routines, these habits might not be intelligent, we are just stuck in a pattern where we keep doing the same thing.
But also, it also means that just you do what's familiar, but even if you know something's better, your intelligence, your familiarity will override your intelligence. So let's say you're a person that's always overwhelmed. You're always like, oh my God, there's so much chaos in my house. My kids have a mess. There's dishes, the dog needs out, I don't know what to cook, I gotta go to the grocery store, blah, 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 whatever, you're overwhelmed. But you're familiar with that environment. But your intelligence knows that you need a schedule, that you need a routine, that you need to put boundaries on your kids, that you need to leverage something in your life to make things easier. But you're so familiar with the chaos, you just keep doing it. Even though you have the intelligence, it should override that familiarity, but it doesn't, because you don't have enough emotion attached to that intelligence. And so your familiarity just keeps you stuck in that pattern, and until you somehow change your emotion, or you break your pattern, you're going to be stuck in that familiarity.
And so one way to break the pattern, one way to get a new familiarity is to increase your energy level. And how do you do that? You use positive emotion. I know it sounds like positive thinking. It's not just positive thinking. It's actually when you feel good, when you feel energized, when you feel happy, joyful, playful, compassion, whatever it is, a positive energy, you're going to be in a better state, and you're going to be naturally taking better decisions. And once you're in this beautiful state, in a good mood, if you want, or great mood, whatever it is, then being clear of what you want, and maybe you want to start, maybe you want to schedule now. You want to schedule your life so you become even more effective with your time. And then once you do that, you got to commit. You got to commit to having the schedule, right? The commitment, and remember why. Why is it important to have this schedule, and what would it cost you not to have the schedule?
Yeah, like going back to the example with the kids and the chaos, is the result you're after that you want to be able to have quality time with your kids when you're with them and not be And so if that's the case, then that's your reason why you're gonna move towards it, or your reason why is that maybe you're going to miss out on your young kid's life because you're so stressed all the time and caught up by distraction and chaos. So therefore, a schedule becomes very important to you, because you're like, holy crap, my kid's 8. I've only got a couple more years left that it's still going to be innocent and interested in hanging out with me, because pretty much once they hit 10, 11, 12, they're like, I'm way too cool for you. That was me, I guess. But, that pain comes in, that fear of missing out, and that emotion is there, and you're like, you know what, not another day, I'm set tomorrow, I'm getting the calendar out, I'm scheduling my stuff, and there's no more law of familiarity anymore. It's going to be straight up intelligence, and you just decide, you embody that through your emotion.
So anyway, there was so much more that was discussed, of course, during UPW.
Oh, yeah.
But we just wanted to share with you one small snapshot.
Or a couple.
A couple of it. So
it was maybe a mouthful.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed.
And so just remember, like, what are you familiar with? Mm-hmm. What is your familiarity right now? What intelligence could you be using a bit more in your life? Mm-hmm. And who do you spend your time with?
Yeah, where are you now, and where do you want to go? And if you're already in the place, then that is great. Like, good.
But the truth is, we can always grow and be better, and make people around us even happier, more energized. We
Which
can always
makes ourselves happier too.
That's right.
Because
when we raise people around us, the community, your family, your country, everything, benefits from it.
Your spirit becomes alive.
That's right.
When you grow, when you can contribute more, whether that's
That's right.
money, time, resources,
You
your
become
presence. It's a real gift that you can give to everybody that's truly fulfilling.
And we'll talk about the 6 human needs in a different video.
Yes.
Because that's a huge one too.
It's amazing.
But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And
take care. Wish you all well. Proximity is power.
Proximity is power. Take care, guys.
Bye.